Okay, so let's just finish off a little bit about this sending information to this page. And I'm going to show you something now which is not very good. Let's see if you can spot what it is. Let's go back to my main page and click here. Let's say I had another text box, so I'm just going to pinch this last name one here. I'm going to have a third text box and I'm going to call this one password. And I'm going to give it the name P-word. Now, although, well, actually, let's do this. I think we've got a type called password. Let me go back to input types. I think there is a type called password. There it is, input type password, and you'll see what happens to it. So I'm going to save my page and I'm going to reload this one. Now I've got 3. Now imagine that you are writing for a company and this is the form that you've created. So somebody can enter their first name, their username. Let's choose Arthur and this time call him blogs, and let's type a password. There you go, and that is the whole point of having the input type password. It takes whatever you type at the keyboard, does not display, it just displays circles, so you didn't see the password. But if I press me to send it to the page, right, a couple of things have happened here. First of all, let's take a look at this. Web server 25, Wilkinson key, response, and then the details that I sent. First name is Arthur, last name equals blog, and the password, well, you can see the password that I typed. That's not very good. Also, it's because it's the first time I've used this password, it's thrown up this box saying, do I want to save it? Or I don't want to save it at all. But if you can imagine passing information and people can see it in the address bar, that's not going to be very secure. Everybody's going to be pinching the passwords. And really, this is happening because of my form here, the action. There's something I've missed out here called a method. It's a method of passing the information. Now, at the moment, it's been using something called get. Don't ask at the moment why it's called get. I'll explain that a lot later in the course. But at the moment, it's using a method called get. There are only 2 methods. One is called get and one is called post. And the default is set to get. So if I don't include this, it automatically sets it to that. Something you need to be aware of. So I've saved it. Again, I'm going back to my page. Refresh the page. Eric, let's idle. Password. There you go. Press me. And you can see here that the password is set to blog. So you couldn't see what I typed, but it's there. So the get method as a default always puts the information that we pass to this response web page in the address bar. Not very good because we can see the information. If we've got important information to pass, then we do not use this method get. We use this method post. And what happens is that instead of sending it on the address bar, and there's a reason for doing that, it's not that we don't want to do this, but if we've got any important information, we send it in the body of the document so that you can't see it. Only programming can reveal what the password was. So now that I've changed that to post, I'm going to go back to my web page, refresh it, type in this time Joe, I don't know, Smith, password, there you go, press it. This time the response page opens up, but in the address bar we cannot see the information that we pass to the web page. It is there, and we will learn how to read it and play with it later, but what is important is that we can't see it. And really a GET request is anything that follows a question mark. That really means GET, and then we have name, value, pairs following it, separated with ampersand. So the more information I send, the more ampersands I'm going to have, and the more name, value pairs I have here. And these names here also need to be unique. Okay, so I can't have two F names because it wouldn't know which F name I was talking about. So that's a quick introduction to the method attribute of the form. So the first attribute says which page are we sending the information to, and the second method says how are we sending that information, in the address bar or not in the address bar. So we're now getting into some really heavy programming stuff, and in the next video we'll see a few more of these input types and how to handle what has been sent to our page.